This is an overview of the Google Maps widget by Unlimited Elements. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how you can create your own Google Maps, which are actually advanced Google Maps with multiple markers inside of the map, which you can navigate between the markers by clicking on the left-hand navigation. You can filter the places with the search bar if you want a search bar, and you can assign each location or place its own custom info window. An info window can have all sorts of content inside of it. As you can see, there are custom markers, custom styles for the Google Map, and everything is customizable inside of here. The next thing I will also show you is how you can make clusters and groups inside of your navigation and use with your map. So what are clusters? If I zoom out over here a lot, I need to zoom out a lot, you can see that it groups those places that are close together into clusters. Once you click on a cluster, it zooms into the map, and now you can see all the different markers that were inside that cluster. And you can also navigate using the navigation, like we said before. You can even maybe turn off or on the markers just to see what's assigned to that group. Without no more further ado, let's get started. The first thing that you want to make sure before getting started is of course that you have Unlimited Elements Pro version activated and installed on your website. Inside of the plugin, you can make a search, or you can navigate to the different categories, find the Google Maps, hover over the Google Maps. If you want to see our demo with all the different examples I showed before, you can click preview, or you can click install. That will install the widget onto your website, and now you can find it inside of the widget pane inside of Elementor. The next thing you're going to want to do is jump into general settings, and over here we need to go to integrations, and we need to paste in our Google Map API key. This widget works with an API key, and if you want to use it, then you will need to get your API key. We have a step-by-step instructions. I'm going to paste them inside of the video description so you can check that out, paste your key, and get started. Once we're inside a page, now we can search for the Google Maps widget. So I'm going to write over here Google, and the first is actually the Elementor Google Maps, but ours is called Unlimited Google Maps because we are Unlimited Elements, and the whole concept behind every single one of our widgets is to make it unlimited with unlimited possibilities and make it as advanced as possible. So I drag that inside of my canvas over here, and you can see this is the default view of the widget. Right now you can see by default the first item over here in our items is selected, and its window is open, and we can add different items, delete items, we can hide this whole part overall. I'm going to take you over everything. So let's see what we have here on the left side inside of the settings. First setting is for map type. Over here we can change that to satellite, hybrid, terrain, whatever you want. I'm just gonna change that to satellite just so you can see the difference. Looks awesome. Most of the maps that I've seen are actually the road map, the regular road map, so that's cool. Over here we can write inside an address. Right now you can see it's showing New York Times Square. Going to change that just for an example to Colorado. So you can see, and now it's updating, it's searching for the location. And right now, because this item is selected, it's not showing it. So I'm just going to go into info window, and I'm going to turn off the first one from being selected. Now you can see that we're seeing Colorado instead of New York, but the zoom level is very close. So let's just zoom out a little bit, and you're going to need to play around with this to find what's the exact zoom level that best serves your map. Depends what kind of map you're showing. I mean, now we can see the most of Colorado over here. And we can also do a location type by coordinates, which I will show later how we can find the coordinates, because we made a really awesome tool. And so I'm going to show that. Now, by default, the map on each computer is going to be in a different language. That's usually the setting that you're going to want to set over here. But if you want, you can override this. So for example, I'm going to change this to custom, and let's say I want it to be in French. Then I put over here FR, and then everything changes to French. Or maybe if I want it to be in a different language, let's say Hebrew, then I put over here HE, and you can see that the language has changed. I usually work with local auto, but that depends on your preference. The next part is the coordinates finder tool. I'll show that in a couple of seconds. And the map controls. So for the map controls are actually all these parts over here. You can turn on or off each part of these. You can really customize everything over here. I'm not gonna go over everything, but just for an example, show zoom controls. It's actually those controls over here. You can see I turned that off and it adapts automatically and it adjusts. Pretty awesome. So play around with these settings, decide. I actually like the default settings, so I don't usually touch this part, but it all depends on your user preference. Next part is the navigation. This part is really important. It's actually the navigation over here. Now, in some cases, you might only have one location. In that case, I would hide this. But if you have more than one location, then I suggest you do leave this on. Right now, it's for after the map, so that's why it's on this side. But if I change that and make it before the map, it will move to the different side. And we can also toggle over here the search. So I just turned on the search over here. You can change the text that you want to show in the search. This will just filter the different locations or places by letters. So if I write over here TI, then it only leaves Times Square. It's a live search, pretty easy, nothing fancy over here. Next part, we can turn on an image for each of these places. Each of these places has an image. By default, that's off, but you can turn that on if you want to. So I'm going to turn it on, and now you can see that looks pretty cool. Each part of these has an image. So awesome. Let's go to the next part, which is info window. This is actually for the window over here. You can assign all the different parts of the info window different icons. Right now it's only showing the address, so we can see over the address over here. It will populate anything that you input inside of the places, so and that's why it's not showing the others, just because we haven't inputted any data over here. So let's close this part, and we showed this before, which is open by default. This will open the first item by default. The first item means the first item that shows in the list over here. Cool. Let's turn that off and go to default marker. The default marker is actually the marker over here. We can change or use anything from the list over here. We have a lot of different markers. You can change the size of the marker. You can upload a custom image for your marker to get the exact design that you want. And I'm just going to show an example by, let's change this to one of the predefined SVGs that we've uploaded for you guys. So I'm just going to change this to stylish yellow. Now right now we're back into Denver, so let's go back into New York Times Square, just so we can see the correct part. And now you can see the default marker. Let's zoom in like we were before, and we're seeing the awesome markers over here. Let's change that to something that will pop up a little bit more. Yellow is kind of getting lost inside of all the colors. Let's choose red, and that's looking nice. We can make it a lot bigger just to make that pop out even more. So I'm just changing the size, and look how awesome that looks. And of course, as I said before, you can upload your own SVG files or whatever. It can be a GIF, it can be any type of image actually. So, and over here, and we have animate markers that will just animate the markers once the map is loaded. Awesome. Next part is for category. I didn't show how to add categories yet, so we'll go back to that later. And responsive. Responsive is actually really important. This tells us when to hide the navigation and turn it into a toggle button that the user can click and show. So let's see how that looks just on mobile, because this is really important. I mean, most of the people on most of the websites are looking today in mobile. So you can see that the navigation is now hidden. And over here we have a toggle button that when we click on that toggle button, now we can see our navigation, and we click on it again, then it hides the navigation. Even if a user clicks on one of the items over here, then the navigation will close and it will show, and it will open up that place. So also really important, really cool. We put a lot of thought into this. So awesome. Next part is for places. So over here inside of the places, let's go back into desktop view, and over here in the places, the first drop down over here for item type is to decide if this is going to be a category or a place. I'm going to leave it a place right now, and I will show the categories later. So right now it's a place. We can give that a title. The title is not the address. It's not where the marker is going to be inside of the coordinates. It's just for visual purposes. It will show over here and over here. And the next part is for where the marker will be and how much zoom level that will have. This is the critical part. This is for placing the marker in the correct part. And the way this works is with coordinates, okay? So you can choose over here to enter your coordinates or map center coordinates. Map center coordinates, that means the same place that we put inside of the general settings. That's for use cases that you have only one marker and you don't know the latitude and longitude. Most cases, if you're using an advanced map, you're going to have multiple locations, multiple places, and now you need to figure out the latitude and longitude. Now there are third-party websites that can help you do this, but we decided to make it as easy as possible for you. And over here, you can see a coordinates finder tool. Let's turn on the coordinates finder tool and let's see what it does. So as you can see, it opened up above our map, and over here we have an option to add a marker address. So let's say we have these three markers right now on our map, and I want to add another marker. So I'm going to search for an address. I'm going to write Statue of Liberty, New York, and then I'm going to click on the small little arrow over here. What it's going to do is it's going to search for that inside of the map, and it's going to show it with a special marker. Okay, this marker is just for the tool. It's not going to stay on your map. It's just for showing you where the place or the address that you inputted over here is on the map. So yeah, Statue of Liberty, awesome. And after I clicked on the arrow, it populated the latitude and longitude fields. Now, another important thing that we need to do over here is decide how much zoom we want. So for example, if I want a lot of zoom over here when someone clicks on that marker, I'm going to, just for testing purposes, click over here 18, just because I want to see how that looks. Now we need to take that and create it into an item inside of places. So I'm going to click on places, add item, and let's do Statue of Liberty. And now I'm going to start copying the latitude. Over here we have a quick copy button, so I click on that. paste it over here. Let's copy the longitude, paste it over here, and our zoom is 18, so I'm just going to change that to 18. And as you can see, it's already added it to the items over here. Of course, you can delete items, duplicate items, reorder items by moving them. And the next part is actually we can turn off the marker if we want to inside of the tool. So I'm just going to click the eye over here. And now we can see the marker that we've just added inside of the places over here. So that's why we have the eye over here, because sometimes you just want to hide this for 1 second because it's covering different parts of the map. Another little small part that you have over here is to show the map coordinates. This is in case that you move the map and it has different coordinates from the marker latitude and longitude. Awesome. I think we're about done adding. So you can add all the text over here. For example, I'm going to add an image for the Statue of Liberty that I've uploaded or chosen beforehand. And you can see everything adapts really nicely. I mean, you don't need to change stuff too much. And we go into the coordinates finder tool. Let's close that. Now we do not see the marker anymore. Let's click on Statue of Liberty, and you can see now it finds that place inside of the map with the correct zoom level, which is really, really awesome. Last part I want to show over here inside of the places is how you can group these. So the way we can group this, I'm going to add an item. I'm going to put that item before all of the different items that I had over here. I'm going to choose, instead of place, category, because I want all these 4 to be under my category. Now you can see I have 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 inside of this category. I can name my category. I'm going to call it New York. And now if we want a different category, we can add it after this bulk or this cluster or however you want to call it. Now what's nice about categories is that you can expand them or collapse them, and you can also click on the checkbox to hide every marker inside of that category. So those are awesome features. Of course, if I'll jump into category, I can turn off the checkbox, I can turn off the this accordion type of effect or behavior. So really, really awesome. Next part is the style. So let's jump into style. And over here you can see that we have height, really nice, responsive setting. You can do VH, pixels, whatever you want. You can apply a CSS filter to sort of change the colors over here. We have a lot of predefined styles over here that you can use. So let's just change that to paper so you can see how that looks, or maybe let's go for something that you can really see the difference. So let's go for pink. And awesome. So we have a lot of styles. We've uploaded a lot of styles over here that you can use, but there's also a way to add custom styles. Now, how do we add custom styles? Over here in style category, we're going to custom styles. And over here, you can see that we need to paste the JSON code. Now, where the heck are we going to get some JSON code from? So there's a link over here, Snazzy Maps. You can also search for that in Google, which is a really awesome website where you have all sorts of styles that you can use. Now, you can go into Explore Styles and explore all the different styles. You have filters over here to filter by color and stuff like that. Now I'm just going to use this Assassin's Creed style, which is really cool. I mean, it doesn't have any labels or text on it. I don't think anyone could really use this, but just for example purposes, I'm going to show you. So I clicked on the style. Now we're in the style page, and I'm going to click over here, expand code, and this is the code that we need to copy. So I'm just going to scroll down and copy everything over here. Copy, 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 copy. Make sure that you don't take something that you don't need. Right click, copy. Go back into the settings, paste it over here, and all the magic happens. Look how awesome that is now. This is why we call this unlimited elements and unlimited Google Maps, because it's really unlimited. Let's jump into the navigation. Make our navigation over here a little bit wider. And look how awesome everything. Now, I'm not going to take you over everything, but it's all the basic stuff for typography, colors, spacing, shadows, everything that you need to make it exactly look the way you want for your website. I hope you guys found this tutorial helpful, and I'll see you in more exciting videos. Subscribe for more, and see you next time.